Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. Today, our session is on how to never take another maintenance request. I'm Ethan, the CEO of Latchel here, and we have our co founder and COO, Will Gordon. At Latchel, we handle 24/7 maintenance for property managers so you can focus on more important things like growing your business, earning more income, and improving net operating income. That's what these sessions are all about, helping you grow your business, diving into industry topics, and focusing on some of the models we've found to be successful in our own growth as a business.
Yeah,
Will?
and for a little bit of background on Latchel, it all started when I was working at Amazon about 3 years ago. Quickly had to help out and take over for my family property management business, and just that maintenance headache, saw how overwhelming it could be. So I called up Ethan and our other co-founder Julian, and to build a solution. And now here we are at over 40,000 units across the country and growing.
So today we're talking about how to never take a maintenance request again. We'll talk a lot about how Latchel can help you do that. This is really kind of going to be kind of a deep dive into one, why you should build a business where you never have to take the maintenance requests, and two, how Latchel can help you do that, and why property managers are using us to offload the maintenance work. So first, I want to start with, I did a mini talk on this earlier this week, but I want to start with why you should get out of maintenance. And there's two kind of simple explanations for it. One is to focus on growing your business, could be, or growing your income, growing net operating income. The second is to create scalability in your business so that if you were to double tomorrow, you know your maintenance operation wouldn't break. So let's first start with growth. The industry metric now is that 45% of a property manager's day is spent on maintenance. What we see a lot is that property management companies can get into this sand trap. Happens close to like 80 units to somewhere around like 150 units most of the time, where the maintenance is going to take up so much of your day and your team's day that you can no longer focus on growing your business and increasing your income. By offloading that 45%, or even if it's 40% and you're only spending 5% of your day doing maintenance, you free up the time to grow your business and focus on the more important things. And in the case of like a small property manager that's maybe just starting out, you're freeing up your time to build process, build systems, and also spend time with the people you care about and not spend 14 hours a day on your job, especially the maintenance side, which isn't even value add.
Yeah, and that's an important point, that it's not a value-added activity for most properties. Like, when you perform a maintenance request, you're not making the property more valuable. You're preventing it from getting less valuable, sure, but it's not generating more income. It's not increasing the potential rent that you can get. It's really just something that you have to do that doesn't actually drive value for anybody at all inside of your company, or for your clients, or for even your tenants. It just removes a big negative.
And the second piece is scalability. Kind of the heuristic we like to use, or the scenario base I like to use, is imagine if tomorrow you doubled the amount of units you were managing. If you're managing 100 units, imagine if tomorrow you were managing 200. What would break? If your answer is nothing, then you've built a really great scalable business. If your answer is, well, we wouldn't have enough people to take care of maintenance, we'd have to do a lot of hiring, it's going to increase my overhead, well, then you have a scalability problem. Latchel is built to help you scale your company. Whether you have 100 units and you're going to 1,000, whether you have 1,000 and you're going to 10,000, whether you have 10 and you're going to your next 20, Latchel is about creating a scalable process. Will, I want to pass it to you to talk a little bit about why scalability is important and how we help with the scalability problem.
Scalability is important because it's a big brand building opportunity to make sure that as your business grows, your current customers don't feel the pain of you taking on that additional growth. You don't want people to be like, oh, they're great when they're small and boutique, but then as they started to want to become a larger company, the service quality didn't stay up, and so then I had to leave and go somewhere else. So the first thing is it's brand building, and that will help you grow more. The other thing is just the time in your day. Just like as you're growing, that 45% metric is so much of your day is spent in maintenance. And if you're growing, so much of your day is going to be spent putting out fires and running from one emergency to the next problem. And you're not going to be able to have any time to even start thinking about, how do I make my business great? How do I make my business more scalable? How do I make it so I'm not just running around putting out fires and without having to hire a bunch of people to do that for you? So if you have that scalability mentality and put in the systems and processes in place so that your company can grow and you don't run into those emergencies, you just have a much, much more enjoyable life overall, and your customers are going to have a much better experience too.
Yeah. I think it's also about keeping kind of your overhead in control too, that the more you can parcel out these things so that your overhead isn't just climbing and climbing as you grow. I mean, you can imagine at 1,000 units versus 100 units, how many more property managers or maintenance coordinators you need to have on the team, who's supervising them. Now you have this management overhead.
Yeah, there's a struggle a lot of companies face. Everyone's heard of economies of scale, where as the company gets bigger or you have more volume, your operating cost per unit should be going down. At least that's the theory. But a lot of times in service-oriented industries, there's diseconomies of scale, because as things get larger, you need to have more management structure in place, supervisors in place, and those supervisors aren't directly contributing. So they may just be adding cost without providing necessarily more value to your customer. And so you see a lot of companies get larger and larger, and their costs go up, and with their profits not increasing. It's a classic problem in service industries, whether it's property management, consulting, or any other piece where people are traditionally providing their service directly from person to person.
Yeah. So, if anything, I hope those two things convince you that you should do everything you can not to be caught in that maintenance trap. Don't be spending 45% of the team's time handling maintenance. Figure out how to reduce that to 5% or less. Increase your growth, increase your scalability. Ultimately, it's going to help with the net operating income of your business, which is the real goal, right? How do you increase income and profitability? Let's talk about how Latchel can help you never take another maintenance request again. We do it in two ways. One is the more obvious way, which is customers using our 24/7 emergency service literally are never taking a maintenance request. Those requests are always going through Latchel. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how that service works. And then I want to dig into some of the, actually, you know what? Let me back up. Let me start with the value points and why people choose to use us to take those maintenance requests. And then I'll dig into how we're able to do this so well and how we're able to get this value up. So there's the obvious, which is you don't want to take maintenance requests. They inundate you. You want to clear up your time. Our 24/7 emergency service, all those requests come to us, right? So you've already freed yourself up from that. The next biggest time suck and area of opportunity is how much of these requests you can actually troubleshoot when you get them. So one of the core things we do as a part of this service is make sure that every issue coming in is troubleshooted or de-escalated. So if we're getting a call about an emergency, the worst thing you can do is say, oh, okay, we've got this emergency at this home. Let's get a plumber out there. Let's say it's a toilet overflowing. That's the worst thing you can do, because the net operating income on those properties is going to plummet because you're going to be over dispatching, right? So offload those calls and do it in a way where you're actually providing a value add. Troubleshoot and de-escalate, because you're going to save the property owner a lot of money. So one of the ways we do it is we have a team of property managers. They're an on-demand team. They take these issues, and you actually get a property manager on the phone with a tenant troubleshooting. That's how our service works. You kind of need that expertise, that person that knows how homes work. They know how to talk to tenants. They know how to walk them through issues. Will, do you know off the top of your head the percent of issues we're able to de-escalate or troubleshoot and fix on the phone?
It's close to 60%.
So imagine if 60% of your maintenance requests were either de-escalated, so you weren't immediately responding at a premium, or even fixed on the phone. How much money does that save your property owners, right? Now, when you bring it back to your business, how much time does that actually save you just by reducing the number of maintenance requests you have to deal with and coordinate? And so there's two benefits: that you're never taking the maintenance request, we're taking it, and that a bunch of these are actually getting filtered out before they even hit your plate. Now you have time to grow your business. Now, the third piece of this service is the actual dispatch when it needs to happen. So on this service, this 24/7 emergency service we offer, we're only going to do the dispatching and coordination for the actual emergency work. If something comes in as an emergency and we're able to de-escalate it and it's not an emergency, but it's still an issue that has to be taken care of, that gets forwarded to you for you to take care of on your own time. This would be like a normal work order, not going to cause property damage, not a safety issue to the tenant. But if it's an emergency, normally you have two options, right? You either defer it and take the risk of property damage, or you let that interrupt your day and you handle it on the spot. Either of which, bad for your business. When Latchel does it, you don't have that worry. Latchel dispatches the emergency, make sure it gets taken care of. You never have to get involved. You just saved that piece of your day to continue growing your business. Now, emergencies aren't that common. The real value of this service is taking all the requests, screening them, being able to determine what is and isn't an emergency, and then being able to troubleshoot it. But, plan for the worst. Emergencies will happen. Make sure whatever service you're using has the capability to address them. And we'll either address them with your network of vendors that you've already built, or if you don't have them, we'll go ahead and pull from our network or find a new vendor for you. Point is, though, you shouldn't be involved in that. That's not a value-add activity. There are services available like ours that can do that for you. Lean on those, focus on growth, focus on scale.
Yeah, and also important for a lot of property management companies that have existing portfolios, or as you grow, you take on clients that have very specific needs. Like you may have one property owner that at their apartment, they only want one specific plumber to go out. They have their plumber, they don't want to use your plumber. You need to make sure that whatever service you use can handle those kinds of exceptions, those kinds of rules and specificity. And as those things change, can update it too and make it easy for you to make those updates. And that's something that Latchel's able to offer.
And it goes even beyond that, right? You might have custom budget limits per property. Some owners may want to get notified, some don't. All this stuff has to be customizable in a way that fits your business. It also kind of goes to the scalability thing we talked about, right? If you're going to allow all these things to be different across your portfolio, you need the systems that can do that in a scalable way. Obviously, that's how we've built our technology. We're a technology company first. We use a lot of software to manage this, so we do it accurately.
It's really hard to run a business based on hope. You just hope that the person who takes the emergency remembers or knows what this specific owner's preferences are for this specific property. If you don't have a system that makes it easy and automatic for people to run and do the right thing on your behalf, you can't scale your business, you can't grow. So we built our services with that in mind. So we were able to customize down to the property level, on the portfolio level, contact specific people that may not even be vendors, whether they're on-site managers, before even dispatching, and then when dispatching, specific preferences for which vendors you want to contact in what order.
Yeah. Now, even the depth at which you're screening an issue is important. So I want to see if I can share something with you here.
You trying to get a screen share going up?
Yeah. Where do I do that? Here we go.
Up at the top.
Okay. I won't share this for too long, but I just kind of want to give you guys an idea of the way in which we're taking in potential emergencies and actually screening them. We have a 2-tier system. This again goes to kind of process and how you build things to be cost efficient and work at scale. So the way we set up our emergency process is in three tiers. The first tier is a reception team screens with the tenant. They're using our software to.
They do the initial triage to try to see what's actually going on. And for anyone who's just listening and doesn't have video enabled, right now we're going through a screen that shows us a bunch of pictures to describe the different categories of potential emergencies, and then big images to go through the troubleshooting process. To say, if it's a toilet issue, have you tried plunging it? Do you have other toilets available? If you do, then it's not an emergency. If you don't have any other toilets available, then it is an emergency. And it makes it really easy for our triage team to go through and troubleshoot. So that's the first tier.
Yep. So what you're seeing here, this is what that reception team goes through to triage this. Now, second tier, let's say these do get flagged as emergencies, that goes to that property management team we have, putting that property manager on the phone with the tenant to do the deep dive troubleshooting. And that's where we're able to resolve an additional set of issues, either by de-escalating or troubleshooting and fixing it 60% of the time. We won't go through all of these, but you can tell a lot of thought needs to go into the way a team will triage this stuff. Obviously, there's unique circumstances, per home, but you're going to have like the big general things that are always going to be the things that will cause potential property damage or be the safety issues. And being able to equip your team with the knowledge and technology to guide them and facilitate them in doing this is how we've gotten a 100% accuracy in diagnosing emergencies. And that's really important, because if you miss an emergency, you're talking potentially thousands of dollars in property damage that could happen. So getting that 100% accurate, that's always been our top priority.
Yeah, we continuously improve and get feedback on different processes. Like we very recently had an air conditioning leak that normally it's very rare for an air conditioning leak to be like an emergency situation, but this one was just an absolutely extreme case. So we modified our processes to be able to capture the more extreme cases whenever something's going wrong.
Now, what a lot of you are probably thinking, and a lot of property managers that I talk to that even think about potentially outsourcing things like this, there's this fear of losing information. We take a stance that there are 3 things that are always going to be important to our customers. That's you. Whenever using a service like ours, the first is going to be convenience, right? You don't want it to be hard to work with us. You don't want it to take 2 weeks to onboard and start our service. So a lot of the things we've built were to be as convenient as possible to use. So it's really easy to use us, really easy to get information, really easy to give us new information. The second thing that's really important to all of our customers, and this kind of hits on that potential fear that some have, is creating transparency in the process. So we already have a really transparent process on how we do things. And if you're curious and like really digging in, looking at demos, playing with things, go to latchel.com/demo and you can actually play with some of the stuff we do. I want to share one other thing with you though. I want to share this. So this is not a real maintenance request I'm going to share with you. It's a fake one that I've created for a broken toilet. But this is what property managers have access to when they use us. You can see an in-depth log of all the actions that are happening on this. We also send these real-time emails to our customers. So as we're troubleshooting things, as we're scheduling vendors to go out, you're getting these real-time emails letting you know what's happening. So it's just like kind of just showing you this because I want you to have a flavor for how seriously we take the transparency of the service. we work to never create like a black box that hides information from you or prevents you from being able to participate in the process when needed, which is why we give you the ability to like message our team, things like that.
Yeah, and we continuously improve this system to provide even more transparency, even more visibility. There's a lot of growth for improvement. We get a lot of feedback about how much people love using our system, but we look at that and it's like there's so much more we can do, and we're going to be continuously improving and continuously delivering for customers to enhance that transparency.
Yeah, we talk about continuous improvement a lot. It's not only something, philosophy we live by to continue improving the service, iterate on it, and provide value for our customers, but we also believe it's something that all of our customers should be doing in their own businesses. Continuous improvement, it's how you grow. It's how you build scalable operations. It's how you get more customer obsessed and get customers that spread the word about you and love you and refer you. Okay, so we've gone pretty deep on our 24/7 emergency service.
We covered 2 of the 3 points, though. We have the convenience, transparency, and you
Right.
forgot the third one.
I did. Why don't you tell us about the third one?
Affordability. It's the best price.
Yeah.
People are never going to want to pay more to get the same service. People always want to reduce their pricing. So as we roll out all these improvements, we maintain the same pricing for our customers. We're not trying to gouge people or nickel and dime things. So we're always trying to find ways to be able to provide more service, better value for that same price.
Yeah, I think one of the philosophies we had starting out is we could use technology to improve the efficiency of our service, so we could pass those really cost savings along to our customers. I think if you look at similar services that come even close to doing what we do, you'll find sometimes they're up to 4 times as expensive. And the reason is that they're not using technology to create efficiencies. And oftentimes when they do have technology, they're not actually tied to the human processes that they create.
Yeah. Very often people use technology as simply a reporting tool. And when you only use it as a reporting tool, it often creates more work, and it does provide more value, but it comes at a cost of additional labor. When you build technology, though, that's integrated with a human operational process, and as you're taking those process steps, things are automatically logged, automatically put into the system, automatically have that transparency. That's how you're able to actually get true value added at a much better cost than any of the other systems.
Yeah. It goes back to scalability, right? All systems have to be working in tandem. So we talked about the 3 things that are never going to change, right? About what our customers look for. Talked about our 24/7 emergency service and how that'll take all those maintenance requests off your plate. That's how you never take another maintenance request again. I do want us to speak real briefly about our premium service, because I think our premium service is really relevant when you're looking to get all parts and all components of maintenance off your plate. We sort of bill our premium service as a 24/7 fully integrated maintenance department for you, meaning we're not just taking the tenant requests, we're not just coordinating those emergencies, we're also taking the non-emergency requests. We're helping to coordinate estimates, bids. We even help with unit turns and project work. I don't want to dive too deep into this other than to say, for those of you looking to take that 45% of your day spent on maintenance down to 5%, that's something you'd want to consider. The kind of rule of thumb we give is that you should look at spending about 15 minutes per day for every 100 units you manage on that service. Now, with some customers, we've gotten it even lower than that, which is awesome. But that's kind of our rule of thumb. If you're interested in talking about that service, I'm just going to ask you to go book an appointment with us to do a one-on-one. With something like that, we got to get real specific to your needs and what you're looking for.
Make sure that you're a good fit for that service, because if you're coming in with the wrong expectations about what that service is, you may not get what you want. We would be happy to refer you to other services that might be a better fit. if you're looking for a company to take exactly what you do today and do that for you, Latchel is probably not the solution for you. If you're looking for somebody though that has continuous improvement in mind, builds their own maintenance processes, and are continuously improving on those to always give a better experience every single day, then Latchel is definitely the company for you.
Exactly. Yeah, it's important to recognize too that when you're growing and scaling, this isn't just in property management. This is for any executive growing a business, scaling a business. You have to pull yourself out of that mindset of do it like me. And you stop thinking, do it like exactly I would do it. And instead, do it in a way that's scalable and repeatable every time. Oftentimes, like when we say, hey, do it like I would do it, we're going through this process in our own head of kind of seeing how we feel about something, maybe using a few, kind of process heuristics to get a gauge of like, what would I do here? But oftentimes when we say, do it how I would do it, what we really mean is just feel it out and make sure your feelings are the same feelings I'd have about it. So it's important to know, like, as you're looking to grow, look for the scalable, repeatable process, not the thing that mimics what you do, because oftentimes what mimics what you do isn't the scalable, repeatable thing. And that's beyond property management. That's even for me and Will as executives at Latchel. When we're working with team members, we need to recognize like the expectation isn't you do it exactly how we would, because what we're doing might not be repeatable.
Yeah. And the other thing to consider related to that is if you wanted somebody to do exactly the way you do it, you probably need to pay them exactly what you're paying yourself to get that same kind of quality.
It's a good point.
It's a bit hard to scale a business when everyone in the company is making an executive level salary.
Yeah. Let's talk though one-on-one about our premium service and if that could be a good fit for you. There should be a button, I think, on this video at the bottom. And if there's not, we're going to throw in a link to book a demo with us in the description of the video. Come hang out with us there. You can book a time with me directly, or you can book a time with Jen, who's not on this meeting right now. But Jen is, she's been in our operation department for, I think, like year and a half before moving over to work with customers and bring them in. So if you really want to dig in, Jen's actually a better person to talk to than me. But I'm always happy to talk to anybody. So click the link, book a demo with us. Happy to talk further. Will, anything else we should let everyone know before we wrap up?
I think we covered it all pretty well. I mean, the last thing I will echo back is when you're thinking about scaling your business, it is important to think about the constants, the things that are never going to change. And for us, it's people are always going to want a more convenient, transparent, and affordable maintenance process. What's never going to change for your customers? Are your tenants ever going to want maintenance to take longer? Are your owners ever going to want maintenance to be more expensive? Probably not. So there's probably other things you can think of in your business and that are permanent and unchanging. And those are the things that really are going to set you up to become that scalable business that you need to be.
Awesome. Thanks, Will. And everyone, don't forget, click the button at the bottom, go to the link in the description, book an appointment with us. We want to talk to you, and we'll share ideas about your specific business too and see how we can help. Thanks, everyone.